All right, this is take 2 of my Nine Souls review. Take 1 was plentiful with a no worth for YouTube, so I'm re-recording this, and I'm also making a better job of really reviewing this game. I put in a little bit of effort to truly illustrate how much I enjoyed this game. All right, so let's begin. First, I'm going to talk about the gameplay. The gameplay is excellent. Beating the true final boss is becoming one of my favorite activities to engage in while holding a controller. This has the spice that was almost an afterimage and isn't really in eyelets. It's more than dodge and mash the attack button. This game requires you to think and react with the plethora of tools that you accumulate to deal with the things you are presented with when it comes to either normal enemies or bosses. Um, I do have to say that the normal enemies can be a little bit pesky, very tricky to parry. This is a game that heavily relies on you parrying things. You can get pretty far without parrying, but the game's a lot easier once you learn how to parry. Um, but yeah, it is fantastic. At first, before I got to the final boss, I had the same experience that I have been having with Islets, which is that the combat was simple and there was not really a lot more to it than pressing the attack button. But as I already said, it took me learning the parries and like really internalizing all the things that one has to do to respond to the things that are being presented to you in the way of attacks to truly understand and enjoy this game's combat system. I cannot really call it lackluster, the combat system. It is fantastic. Very good indeed. And that is a big, important part of a Metroidvania for me. That the combat is interesting and is more than just jump and press the attack button. And this game passes that with flying honors. It is one of the best in the genre for me in that aspect. The map exploration was very much suited to my tastes. The areas themselves are not gigantic, they're kind of linear, and they're pretty interesting. These subsides, for me, may be downsides for others, but I'm here for the boss fights, so the least resistance the exploration presents, the better for me. Not to mention that while the exploration was relatively compact, it still had enough to reward you for exploring around and stuff. So yeah, it's pretty fantastic. One thing that this game does that I cannot really remember any other game that I've played do, I cannot remember any other game doing that, is being able to talk to an NPC, give the NPC a little bit of money, and getting the full map, including the secrets that you have yet to find. Like it tells you, oh, you have not found a mini boss here, and you have not found a chest. And then if you're missing items in the end game, you're like, oh, I should go to that area and beat that mini boss and find that chest for those items that I'm missing. Okay, it's pretty cool, and I wish more games did that. It would certainly make it a lot easier to 100% these games, or if in games that require you to do some exploring and stuff for the full ending, for the true ending, which this game is one of those, it certainly eases that process. You know, it removes friction from having to tab out of the game and look up a walkthrough or a map of someone else who already did it. I might as well just add that to the game and unlock it after a certain point in the game. That is, in my opinion, the better way to do it. And once again, this is just like something that I've gotten from Dungeon Crawl Stone Soup. I haven't really mentioned it in this review, but it is very much fresh in my mind, the crawl design philosophy just like removes friction from the players by introducing all that info that players could look for in a wiki in the game. And this game does kind of the same thing by precisely letting you buy the map. It's great, it's fantastic, and I think more games in the genre should do it. The storytelling was easily, by a mile, the best in the genre, and more developers should learn from this game and pay attention. Your game's story is truly special to me. If you're hitting me with 5+ minute cutscenes multiple times throughout the game, and I'm not complaining, and I didn't complain once. Every time there was a cutscene, I was enthralled. At first, it was a little bit complicated for me to follow um, the the train of thought of the cutscenes, but then I understood. It's like memories of G, and sometimes it's like transmissions from Hank. No story spoilers here. Um, those names don't really mean anything to you unless you play the game. The story and the gameplay are beautifully intertwined. It's amazing what this game does in terms of story, with the cutscenes, with the boss fights, with the characters that antagonize G. Um, it's beautiful. It is fantastic, and I cannot really go into very much detail because it would entail story spoilers. I really do think this is the best storytelling in a Metroidvania that I've ever played. It's wonderful, it's very rich, it's well written, well translated, well paced, and yeah, ultimate praise for the storytelling in this part of the game. The usage of some visual elements in the first sections of the game, which, by the way, were the thing that got my video with limited monetization in the first place, yeah, they were shocking to me when I first saw them. Like at the beginning, I reacted somewhat negatively to that, but as I went through the game, and especially after I finished the game and I thought more about the purpose of those visual elements that were placed at the very beginning of the game, now I understand them, and I wouldn't really replace them with anything. I still find it kind of distasteful, but I understand them. I think that they are an important part of the experience, and so there cannot really be a version that removes those elements. I did not appreciate the usage of a jump scare. Definitely not. That jump scare happened when my room was pitch black at 11 p.m. I'm generally not fond of media that uses them at all. Like, I try to very much stay away from jump scares. I do not enjoy them, I do not like them, and I don't want to see them. But once again, I understand why the jump scare was in the game. It doesn't mean I like it, but I can't think of how I would do the scene with the jump scare without the jump scare. I think that, once again, as I already mentioned, it's an important part of the storytelling and the narrative and the ambience and the lore of the game, right? Very important. Now, you are gonna be probably a little bit blown away because I never talk about the side characters in a video game. But this is Xuan Xuan, effectively G's adopted son. It's a pretty fantastic character, a precious character, excellent symbolisms that completely changes G by the end of the game. I am not really gonna elaborate on all the things with Xuan Xuan, but it is a beautiful relationship that develops between Xuan Xuan and G. It's fantastic, and it really elevates the game's story. And it's a side character. Can you think about that? Can you imagine that? I think that the way that this specific side character is developed in this game easily sweeps the floor with the characterization that Renee, the main character of After Image, gets. Renee might as well be um, a cardboard cutout with compared to Xuan Xuan, which is incredible. Now, that is not the only side character that I have to praise, which is even more crazy. There's also Shenong. Shenong, in conjunction with Xuan Xuan, are both big parts of the journey of G throughout the game. Because the person that G, which the main character is G, the person that G is at the start and the person he is at the end are very, very different. This game's not a journey of vengeance, believe it or not. It is a journey of redemption. Um, and it is a very well executed journey of redemption at that. It's a great message, and I appreciate it a lot. Now, I don't have a picture of Kwafu, but Kwafu is also a great character. And I don't really have much to say about Kwafu, because Kwafu is one of the characters that gets least developed, except for the fact that Kwafu also goes through the character arc that G does, at first being terrified of Xuan Xuan, but eventually growing to really like him, to teach him things, and Xuan Xuan calls him Uncle Chubby. Like there is that level of closeness between Kwafu and Xuan Xuan. It is great. It is great. By the way, I apologize for the pronunciation if I completely butcher it. I try not to, but what can you do? Now, it's all been upsides, but I didn't have like a 10 out of 10 experience with the game. It's very close to that. It's definitely nothing that makes me think, oh, this game sucks. No, no, of course not. One of my grievances with the game, my few grievances, mind you, is the grindiness of Chiyo's quest. Chiyo is a shopkeeper that you find throughout the game, and Chiyo sells a lot of stuff to acquire money for a purpose that shall not be disclosed in this video. If you want to find out, you can go play the game. The point is that he wants money, and in this game, money is a little bit difficult to come by. It's rather scarce, not to mention that the mechanics of the game make you lose money somewhat frequently. When I finished the game, I was nowhere close to having enough money to buy out Chiyo, or to fully upgrade everything from Kwafu or the 3D printer, because there is a 3D printer and Kwafu can also upgrade your stuff with money. Never got even close to finishing either of those things. An adjustment to the amount of hard money in the game, that is, money that is represented as an item in this game instead of just being money that you hold, would be ideal for me. Main bosses could give a lot more money in this form, or perhaps even soft money that you can lose, so you're immediately incentivized to go back to base and progress the side quests and expand on the lore of Shenong and Xuan Xuan, and upgrade your stuff. And I think that's like a little bit of a negative, if it's so minuscule. Like it's such a minuscule thing that it doesn't really affect things in the grand scheme of things. I completed the game without really a lot of difficulty, without having all of those things upgraded and bought. So grinding is not necessary unless you wanna progress the quest of Chiyo. And so I didn't finish the quest of Chiyo. Which is a shame because Chiyo is a pretty cool character. But yeah, the money problem is so much of a thing that often, and especially in the earlier parts of the game, I found myself not having the $400 reduce for a copy of the map from the NPC that sells it to you. So yeah, I really do think that there could be more money in this game. To finalize, this game makes it to my top 3 of Metroidvanias, that being, in order, number 1 Rabi-Ribi, number 2 Tebi, and this game in third place. But in terms of overall quality, this game is probably the best Metroidvania I ever played. I already told you about why I think that. All that's left for me to do is to incentivize you to play the game because I enjoyed it a lot and I want to see more games like this be produced. It's exactly the same words that I have used in the past for games like Rift Wizard 2. So yeah, if you enjoy games that I enjoy, you might also enjoy this one. Though I do understand if you do not find it an interesting or an appealing experience because it is very much a departure from the kind of games that I've played on stream in the past, that being roguelikes and roguelike inspired games. This is a Metroidvania. So there is that. And thank you to my supporters on Patreon: Anthony, Dulo, Inon, Grapophilia, Fede, Frog, Shaper Merlin, Alistair, Neil, Mikhailo, Scott, Plotny, Blink and Die, Louis, Kent, Spartus. I appreciate your continued support in these times where I am trying to diversify, and I appreciate your support at all. Some of these people are no longer supporters, but I still appreciate the fact that they decided to contribute a little bit to the cause in time, or like when that happened. You understand what I mean. Anyway, bye.